Now we are going to take our summer scene and rework it into something like this reference photo. So as you can see, the main differences are the grass is a bit brighter, it has lots of yellow flowers. Okay, some trees don't have leaves yet, and those that do are very light colored. Okay, and let's rework this step by step. I'm gonna start with the grass. Okay, so let's select it and isolate. And okay, let's start with the longer grass. Okay, so let's see how it looks right now. Right, the color is very dark and desaturated, and compare it to this photo, and you can see the changes we need to make. So let's open our material editor. Okay, and let's change the grass colors to something a bit brighter. Okay, something like this. Change the gradient ramp as well. Okay, I think this will be good. Let's move on to the next material. Make it brighter as well. And change the ramp colors too. Okay, and one more. And just make it a bit brighter. Okay, let's re-render and see how it looks. So a bit better, but it's still lacking a bit of saturation. Okay, check again. I think this might be all right. Okay. Let's unhide the two other parts of grass. See how everything looks together. Okay, very nice. Very fresh grass. Okay. So now I want to add some nice looking yellow flowers to the grass. I'm just gonna unhide all and select this line that covers the grassy area. Okay, let's rename it to area grass. And let's create a new Forest Pro object. And click on it. Okay. Drop it to the surface. Make sure it's unfrozen. So I'll drop to the surface. Okay, wrong surface, clicked on the water accidentally. Make sure you set it to ground. All right, and now let's change the geometry to custom object and pick out some of these dandelions. So that's geometry, custom object. And let's pick all three. Okay, I'm gonna isolate the selection. And I think we can make it a bit denser. Maybe even more so. And that's nice. Let's randomize it a bit by adding some random transforms. Okay, beautiful. Maybe unhide the grass and the ground. Okay, by name. So the grass. And the ground. Okay. Okay, and let's unhide the water. So let's see how that looks. The density looks fine. Maybe the flowers need to be a bit larger, and we have to fix the materials. Okay, let's start with the materials. Okay, let's unhide by name the dandelions. Let's zoom in and pick the material from them. Okay, so for the flower, I'm gonna use a bright yellow color, like this. Tiny bit of reflections. And for the leaves, I'm just gonna use the medium grass material. Okay, let's re-render. Okay, if I look at the reference again, I can see that the flowers are pretty dense, so maybe let's increase the density a bit. And I think maybe we can change the pattern, the distribution pattern, to something more patchy. so they are not distributed so uniformly. The materials look alright. I'm gonna select my forest object, rename that to forest dandelion, and let's look at it from the top. Okay, so the distribution map, maybe let's try something like grid or groups. Okay, let's try groups 2 and make the unit size, let's say 3000. Now let's see how that looks. It's nice, but I think the flowers might be a bit too small. Okay, I'm gonna increase the density a bit. Let's say we reduce that to 2000 pixels or units, and reduce the threshold to 25 and scale those flowers up to maybe 120%. Okay, the scaling is a bit too intense. Let's bring that back down to 100, and I'm also gonna go to my random transforms and change that to 80% to 100%. That should make them a bit smaller. Okay, and that's looking better. Right, so I think I'm happy with the flowers. Now let's unhide the reeds. And for the reeds, we probably want to make them shorter and maybe less dense than they are right now. Okay, and I'm gonna modify that material a bit as well. Just gonna drag and drop and make them a bit greener. Okay, I think that's gonna be fine. Okay, now let's adjust the density. So let's bring that up to 1000 and scale them down a bit to maybe like 50%. All right, now let's check how it looks. I think that's pretty good. Let's leave it in that. Maybe slightly bring up the density to maybe like 850. That's gonna be fine. All right, let's save the scene. Right, now we wanna fix the trees and the bushes. I'm I'm gonna hide that grass and those reeds. And I'm gonna unhide my my forest and my bushes. As well as those poplar trees. Okay, let's see how they look. They are much too dark right now, much too intense. So my first step is going to be fixing the material of bushes. So let's select that forest. Okay, let's rename so we can find it easier. Forest bushes, and let's grab that material and fix the colors. So here are the colors. Let's make them much brighter, much more like they would be in spring with young leaves and salad colored shoot, something like this. And change that gradient too. Okay, and see how it looks right now. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure it's in the right place. Make sure it's instanced to the geometry. Okay, looking bright. Seems good. So the next step is fixing those trees. We want the leaves to be much smaller and the colors to be much brighter. Unfortunately, I have collapsed my meshes from GrowFX objects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-merge them in from my plants folder. Okay, so re-merge those trees, straight poplars. Okay, let's move them next to those we have here. And let's make some changes. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna assign that bush material to them. And then I'm gonna select them and modify the leaves. Okay, first of all, the leaves length. Let's send that to maybe 4. Okay, let's try 5. Okay, that's good. Let's leave this one as it is, since it's pretty short. Make another copy. Make it a bit longer, let's say 10 meters. And make those leaves shorter. Maybe 4. Alright, like that. So now I'm gonna delete these originals. Okay, and select my forest trees object. Okay, so I'm gonna delete these from the geometry list. And I'm gonna add these new poplars. Okay. Let's isolate the selection and see how it looks. I think it's quite nice. Perhaps we can even make one type of tree, or without the leaves at all. Okay, so let's unhide one of the large poplars. And make a copy. And I'm just going to turn off the leaves for it. Alright, so select that forest object and add this naked tree as well. Let's see how it looks. Very nice. Okay, let's unhide all. And I think the only thing that's left is fixing these two bushes. I think they are named GrowFX1 and GrowFX2. So first of all, the material. Make that brighter. Okay, then we're gonna turn off the flowers. And then I'm gonna turn my leaves a bit smaller. Let's see how they look. Okay, quite good. Maybe let's make the color like this. Excellent. So unhide all. And let's make a quick test. Oh, forgot one thing. Those 3 foreground trees. Let's quickly fix them as well. So here they are. first of all, let's turn back on the previews so we can see them. Let's select their material. And make it brighter. All right. And finally, let's make the leaves a bit smaller. Actually, I think they are using a custom mesh. So let's check that, and yes, they are. It's called line 001. Let's unhide it. Okay, so here it is. Basic leaf. And I'm just gonna go ahead and select this element and scale it smaller, as well as moving the pivot point back to where it belongs. And the tree looks fine. Right, so unhide all. Now let's make a test. Okay, and that is the spring scene.